What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we need to talk about all the leaders which are coming around in OP-03. As I sit here recording this, we are now in June. That means we are in the month where Pillars of Strength is going to be released. That is wonderful, wonderful news. So I thought it might be a good idea, now that we've had the official reveal of all the leaders in English, to go through all the leaders that are coming around in OP-03, show off the official English scans, and have a jolly old good time doing so. Good. So I'm going to start off with what is, by a bit of a margin, my favourite of the leaders coming around in OP-03. It's Nami. And it's not just because Nami's very cool in the manga, though she very much is. It's because in terms of the card, this is a fantastically interesting card. What we've got here is a 5,000 power, 5 life leader, mono leader, so all very standard. When your deck is reduced to 0, you win the game instead of losing according to the rules. This is a card that very literally breaks the rules of the game. And it does so by basically saying, as soon as you run out of your deck cards, as long as there are no cards left in your deck, you win. So you want to be playing a whole bunch of cards that draw and a whole bunch of cards that cycle through your deck and just have a jolly old good time doing so. And yes, that has actually led to some restricted cards. That has actually happened. We have had our first restricted cards in the One Piece TCG, and that does include the Kabaji from OP-02, that on play, if you've got emoji in play, draw 2 cards, trash 1 from your hand. It was too easy to use this multiple times, so they actually, like proper job, went and just banned emoji. That was a thing that they went and did. Okay, fair enough. So that's a card that you're just not allowed to use anymore. And remember, that has come into effect with the OP-03 pre-release, which is, of course, now. Good. Lots of fun. Now that's Nami. Nami is my favourite, but there are a bunch of others we can have a look at. Ace is one that's seen a bunch of play and a bunch of love over in Japan. And this is a very interesting leader. Again, we've got a mono leader, so 5,000 power, 5 life. And what we've got here is when this leader attacks or is attacked, you may trash any number of event or stage cards from your hand and gain an extra 1,000 power for every one you do. What is very interesting about this one is that you can do this when the leader is attacked or when the leader is attacking. And that honestly makes like a very, very big deal. Because obviously, when the leader's being attacked, that's when your opponent's going after your life. That's when you really need the extra boost of power. But you can also build up your leader here for kind of one big swing. Either way, you've got some really good options with Ace that you just don't have in other decks. Then you build in a bunch of good events and you are off and rolling. Now, I'll be honest with you, Kuro over in the manga was not the coolest of the antagonists so far. I don't think that's a controversial statement. And the card here, it's fine. 5,000 power, 5 life mono leader. And activate main, you can pay free, rest 2 of your East Blue type characters, set your leader to active, and that's good of course because it means you get a second swing with the leader this turn. That's always a bonus. And then rest up to 1 of your opponent's characters with a cost of 5 or less. The problem I find with this is it's just a bit too much. Paying free and resting 2 of your characters, but forcing the characters you rest to be East Blue, which pushes you into certain types of deck building. It's a little bit awkward, frankly, ladies and gentlemen. It is a little bit awkward. I like setting the leader to active, that's good. I like resting 1 of my opponent's characters, but the fact that it's got to be a cost of 5 or less, and the fact that it's asking so much of me to get there, I am less of a fan of this one. I am sorry. Now, one that I weirdly like, probably way more than I should coming from this set, is Arlong. I really like the new Arlong leader. I think it could be really, really cool. What we've got here is a 5,000 power 4 life leader, but obviously you've got a dual colour yellow and green, so that makes perfect sense. And what you do is Don X2, when attacking, pay 1. you can play up to one character card of a cost of 4 or less and a trigger from your hand. And one of the things we see in One Piece is that yellow characters have trigger a little bit more readily than some of the other characters that we tend to see. And this is awesome. So, yeah, I really like this. Because remember, the characters with trigger are going to be played for free if they come out of your life. They're now being played for free if they come out with Arlong. And this is just fantastic, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely fantastic. Think about the Charlotte Brûlée, which is coming around in Starter Deck 7 at the same time as this, because they've both got an October 30th release date. That's kind of awesome, because that is a blocker with a trigger, so there's like multiple different ways that blocker can come into play for free. I'm a big fan. I like Arlong. I like playing characters for free. I think it's a bit of an advantage. That's just me personally. Now, we are getting ourselves a ice guy here, or Iceburg if you prefer, with the little mouse, which is adorable. 5,000 power, 5 life. Of course, you are just a mono purple leader here. And the leader cannot attack. It's just a mono leader, same as all the others, but you're not allowed to attack. Why is that possibly the case? Because activate main, Don -1, you may rest this leader to play up to one Galila Company type character card of a cost of 5 or less from your hand. Well, I've just gotten done telling you with Arlong that I love playing characters for free. Here, it's Don -1 and you rest this leader, but resting the leader doesn't really matter because you can't attack with it anyway, and now all of a sudden you get to play a character for free. Yeah, I'm a big fan of playing characters for free, which means I'm quite a big fan of Ice Guy here. It is cool. I like it. I'm a little bit of a fan. So, yeah. This Arlong card to let you play other cards for free make me happy. Now, I've just gotten past a bit in the manga where Rob Lucci comes around. I like Rob Lucci. Rob Lucci's cool. Although, I'm not loving how the leader card just... The leader card, yes. The alternate art leader just doesn't do a good enough job of showing off the bird. And that makes me a little bit sad. Because that bird's a big deal. The character, 5,000 power, 5 life, on your turn, once per turn, you may trash 2 cards from your hand, and when your opponent's character is KO'd, set this leader to active. So if you're KOing characters, you get to be setting this leader to active. Yeah. Extra attacks. It's quite cool. Trashing cards from your hand, I'm not a huge fan of, and the fact that you're just setting it to active, it's not actually, although I think Rob Lucci as a character is extremely cool, I'm not loving the leader, but I do think there are going to be some people that can make very, very good use of this. Now, Charlotte LinLin comes around as a leader in the set, and it is worth bearing in mind that Starter Deck 7 does have a Charlotte LinLin leader. So this is actually the second Charlotte LinLin leader, which is being released on the 30th of June. You can choose between them. This is a dual color 5,000 power 4 life. And we've got Don X2, when attacking, pay 2. You may trash a card from your hand. So Don X2 and pay 2 and trash a card from your hand. It is asking a lot. But if you have 1 or less life, add up to 1 card from the top of your deck to the top of your life cards. So yes, it is asking a lot of you, I admit, but it's then giving you extra life, and recovering life is a very, very big deal. Now, it's only if you've got 1 or less, but do remember, like, the whole hook of yellow decks, the whole point of yellow decks is that they come around and they manipulate life. That's what they do. That's kind of the point. So for that reason, it doesn't really matter that it needs to be 1 or less, because a lot of the time you're going to be going down to very little life very quickly with yellow, but then hanging on quite nicely, and this being able to recover is one of the ways that you can do so. And then finally, we got one more yellow leader. We've got Charlotte Katakuri. This is, of course, just a mono yellow leader, as you can see on the screen. So that means 5,000 power, 5 life, all fairly standard. And what we've got here is Don X1, when attacking, look at up to 1 card from the top of yours or your opponent's life, and place it at the top or bottom of the life, and then this leader gains 1,000 power during this battle. Charlotte Katakuri lately over in Japan has been like the best yellow leader. This has been the one that has been seeing the most play. And essentially, having a 6,000 power leader is great, but this is also really interesting. Because remember, the top card of your opponent's life could be a trigger, or if it's not, when you take a life, it's going to be the next card that they get. When a life is taken, they get the card. That's the kind of, consolation prize. Well, Charlotte Katakuri allows you to a certain degree to manipulate that to make sure your opponent's not getting much of an advantage. But you can then also do the same thing with your life, looking at the next card you're going to draw when you take a life, or looking to see if there is a trigger. I've already mentioned that yellow decks have more triggers. And basically, there is a lot of good stuff going on here, which is going to help you out massively. So yeah, this is one of those leaders that on the face of it doesn't necessarily look that great at first. And then you think about it a little bit more and you're like, oh yeah, no, I can see why that's an amazing card. Right. There we go then, ladies and gentlemen. Those are all the leaders coming in OP-03. Pre-releases are happening in a couple of weeks' time. We got the release at the end of the month, and now it's over to you guys. Tell me what you think about these leaders. Tell me which ones you're looking forward to. Tell me anything you want to tell me in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi. That's where we talk about One Piece and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, join a Discord, and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wasi Plays.